Hello and welcome back to another video called Legends and Myths. Today I'll be telling you the story of one of the most frightening deities of Mayan mythology, Ixtab, the goddess of suicide and the queen of Xibalba. Ixtab, also known as Rope Woman, was depicted in the Dresden Codex as the goddess of suicide, particularly those who died by hanging. Her name means woman of the rope, and she is depicted as having the rotting corpse of a woman hanging from the sky by a rope which coiled around her neck. She is also the wife of the god of death, Apuch, in which they both rule together in the lowest level of the underworld. As suicide was considered an honorable alternative to living among the Mayan, self-inflicted death guaranteed one an instant passage to paradise by passing the dark and dangerous underworld of Xibalba. This rightful passage also applied to slain warriors, sacrificial victims, priests, and women who died during childbirth. Ixtab would escort the souls of suicides to paradise, where they would enjoy eternal pleasure surrounded by other blessed souls, such as those who died in battle, in childbirth, as sacrificial victims, or on the ball court playing pakatak. The ancient Mayan did not see death as the end of life. Instead, death was seen as part of a cycle in which people die only to be born again. Before Spanish influence, there may not have been a common idea of the afterlife. The Yucatec Mayan believed that there were different routes after death. The Mayan believed that the soul is bound to the body at birth. Only death or sickness can part the body and soul, with death being the permanent parting. To them, there is an afterlife that the soul reaches after death. In that, deceased ancestors can still contact their descendants, answering advice when they are asked. This contact can be used at certain times in the season or when certain family matters pertain to the ancestors. Understanding the perception of what the deceased do in their afterlife can give ideas towards what rituals need to be performed and what types of items one must be buried with in order to successfully navigate the afterlife. The concept of the afterlife, or Xibalba, differs between the Mayan ethnic groups. Many have a generalized belief of all souls going to the afterlife, being reincarnated or having another role to participate in after death, but these ideologies changed dramatically with the rise of Christianity. With that came the idea of Xibalba being a location of punishment. The longer one spent in Xibalba, the worse a life they led while living. In some other cultures, suicide is morally acceptable under particular circumstances. Although most Western religions forbid suicide, some Eastern religions are more accepting. Among Buddhist monks, for example, self-sacrifice for religious reasons can be viewed as an honorable act. Another culture that has a substantial tolerance for suicide is in most Japanese traditions. From a historical standpoint, there is probably no more iconic form of culturally sanctioned suicide than the Japanese tradition of seppuku. Seppuku is a form of taking one's life that was considered honorable among the feudal Japanese samurai class. The terms seppuku, cutting the stomach, and harakiri, belly cut, both refer to the ancient rite of stabbing the lower abdomen and disemboweling oneself with a short sword. This gruesome act was capital punishment for samurai to spare them the disgrace of being beheaded by a common executioner. That practice was prevalent from the 15th century until 1873, when it was abolished. Suicide carries a social and moral meaning in all societies. At both the individual and population levels, the suicide rate has long been understood to correlate with cultural, social, political, and economic forces. Most suicides are related to psychiatric disease, with depression, substance use disorders, and psychosis being the most relevant risk factors. However, it is misguided to directly link Ixtab to contemporary mental health concerns. Mayan belief systems and its deities were understood within the context of their time and culture, not as explanations for modern-day psychological conditions. Ixtab holds a significant place in ancient Mayan mythology. This enigmatic deity is shrouded in mystery, with depictions and symbolism that offer insights into Mayan beliefs. The goddess Ixtab, known in the pantheon of the Mayan gods as the supreme goddess of suicide, liked to induce people to die by their own hands to take care of their soul after they have died. However, Ixtab is not exclusively associated with suicide. While she does hold a special connection to this act, her role extends far beyond it, encompassing themes of transformation and rebirth. In reality, Mayan belief acknowledges both positive and negative aspects of life, and Ixtab serves as a guide for souls transitioning to the afterlife. She knew the meaning of suicide, and since it was considered an honorable way to die by the Mayan, the goddess liked to incite this practice among mortals. Ixtab was not distinguished by being a beautiful goddess. Her appearance resembled that of a decomposing corpse, and most of the time her eyes were closed, and she loved to hang herself by the neck of the trees. She would guide and protect those who committed suicide and lead them to paradise. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this to come. Let me know what other death gods or deities you would like for me to make a video on next. I appreciate all the support and the nice comments. Take care, and I'll see you in the next myth.